back with my special guest, Jesse Ventura. And I do mean special because there's no one quite like you, Jesse Ventura. Let's turn to your conspiracy theories in the book. As some would say, you would argue that they are factual assessments of issues, one of which is you call Iraq and Afghanistan, the wars there, the first contract wars, saying the government hired corporations to do the job of our troops, paying them a lot more than they would pay the troops. Explain what you mean by that.
Sure. Well, you've got all these contractors, former U.S. military special forces people. They realize they can get paid a whole lot more money to be a private contractor than what the military pays them. So they leave our military in droves and go to like Blackwater. I don't know what they call themselves now. They change their names around and they go over there and they're nothing but cowboys. They don't fall under any of the rules of war. They're mercenaries, and that's what we're turning into today. Our military is turned into contract killers now, contract for hire. You know, and we're using them more and more, and they're very much more expensive when you go to war to hire them than to use the regular military. And what troubles me is this, Piers. I'm 60 years old now, and I'm born post-World War II. I was born in 1951. My country has been at war for over half of my life. Over half of my life, we have been at war. No other country in the world, save Israel, can say that.
But when you look at Barack Obama, who you have little time for, it seems, but in terms of his foreign policy,
well, I have less time.
Right, but isn't he doing exactly...
I have less time for Mitt Romney.
Right, but isn't Barack Obama doing exactly what you would do? He's pulled the troops out of Iraq, he's pulled them out of Afghanistan in the conflict to get...
He has?
Well, he is pulling them out. He's pulling them out, isn't he?
Well... I guess he is, but he's leaving private contractors over there, a lot of them. He hasn't closed Gitmo yet. You know, he didn't prosecute anyone for torture. You know, we're now a country known throughout the world. We torture people, you know, and I'm ashamed of that. I mean, shouldn't we take the high road? No. Now, is Barack Obama better than George Bush? Yes, I will say that, but he's still... You know, he told us he would end the wars. He told us that, and now we're ramping up to go to war with Iran.
What would you do? What would you do with Iran?
Well, I'll give you a scenario. Here's a scenario that I would have asked at the Republican debates. I would have said, hypothetically, if you're the president, let's say Hugo Chavez of Venezuela, because of his fear of our military and the fear of the United States, if he went and bought an unmanned drone and flew it over United States airspace, and if that drone crashed in the United States, you as president, I would have asked the Republicans, what would you do? I bet you they would have declared war. And yet, we fly unmanned drones over Iran airspace. No one gave us permission to do that. The hypocrisy is unbelievable. In our country, we believe we can do anything throughout the world, and if any of them people did that back to us, we would declare war on them immediately. Am I not right? What if Hugo Chavez did that? Or say Hugo Chavez bought 1,000 acres of land by Palm Springs and moved the Venezuelan military in there. I mean, we've got our military in, what, 270 countries throughout the world? Well, that's an empire. You know,
yeah,
I don't care to live like that.
Jesse, isn't there a slight naivety, though, to this? Because it's very easy to say that America, which is the world's #1 military superpower and economic power, should simply sit back and not do anything in any of these dangerous countries, like Iran, North Korea, Pakistan, wherever it may be. Doesn't America have to get involved?
So the U.S. is definitely threatened by these countries. In what way?
You don't think
they can't shoot a rocket at us?
You don't think that
we have? Well, let me give
you a for instance. If Iran began to develop nuclear weapons and built up a nuclear arsenal at the same rate, say, of North Korea, of Pakistan, would you not, as an American, feel threatened by that development, given that they are such unstable countries?
Right. Do you know why they have to do that? You notice the United States doesn't mess with anybody that's got the nuke. So we're forcing countries like Iran to get the nuke so that we won't mess with them. We don't mess with nobody that's got the nuke. We only go after, and you're talking about this buildup? I've heard that before. I heard the same thing about Iraq. I heard that a few years ago. It was all a lie, wasn't it? They had no weapons of mass destruction. They had no ties to Al-Qaeda. The American people were boldly lied to about that entire war, and then we go into that war and we discover it's all a lie, and yet nobody holds anybody accountable for it. Well, now they're using the same scenario on Iran. The same identical scenario. They're telling us, they're putting fear into us, because I believe the United States has changed today, where we must be in a perennial war, and those perennial wars will bring us down just like the Roman Empire fell.
Well, Jesse, you are at perennial war with almost everybody verbally, and long may you continue. It's a fascinating book. Democrypts and Rebloodicans, no more gangs in government. It's been great fun catching up with you again. You look in great shape. Come back soon.
Thank you, Piers. Thank you, I will, and thanks for having me on, because a lot of people don't have your courage.
I have ultimate courage. I have no fear when it comes to the Ventura. See you soon.
Okay, thank you.